Alright guys, it is now time for my Week 11 picks of the 2023 NFL season, as last week I went 8-6 again. And of course, forgot to update this too, but yeah, did not have a good week unfortunately. The 4 p.m. games really screwed me over. A little 6-2 for the 1 p.m. games, but then 1-3 for the 4 p.m. That sucked really badly. And of course, here is the regular season, the playoff standings of the season today. In the AFC, it's the Chiefs with the bye, with Texans at Ravens, Browns at Jaguars, and the Steelers at Dolphins. And in the NFC, it's the Eagles with the bye, with Vikings at Lions, Cowboys at 49ers, and Seahawks at Saints. And my Super Bowl prediction would be the Eagles over the Chiefs. Alright, so now let's get to my Week 11 picks, as we start with a huge one Thursday night, as it's a big AFC North matchup. The Bengals at the Ravens. As the Ravens won the last one, the Bengals haven't beaten them since 2022, and they haven't won in Baltimore since 2021. They try to still have a same record at least last year, not to have a worse record. So the Bengals lost a close one to the Texans, as Burrow kind of shit the bed near the end of the game. Meanwhile, the Ravens completely shit the bed, blowing it against the Browns. Very humiliating loss for them. They should have had that victory, but nope, they let the Browns come back to get the victory. And of course, once again, just when I was thinking I was going to trust the Ravens, finally they showed that they're not to be trusted again. So you know what? I'm going to pick the Bengals first one. I trust them more lately. And then we get to the Sunday games, as it starts off with the Cowboys at the Panthers for the first time since 2018. As the Cowboys won the last one, the Panthers haven't beaten them since 2018. The Cowboys haven't won in Charlotte since 2012. As the Panthers try to avoid, like a 6 straight losing season or something like that. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, they destroyed the Giants, whoop-de-doo. At least Dak's been playing better. Meanwhile, the Panthers lost to the Bears in a close Thursday night game. I'm picking the Cowboys for this one. And then a huge, probably even a huger AFC North matchup, as it's the Steelers at the Browns. Steelers won the last 2. The Browns haven't beaten them since 2022, and the Steelers haven't won in Cleveland since 2021. As whoever wins this game, depending on what happens with Bengals or Ravens, could take the lead in the AFC North. So anyways, the Steelers beat the Packers in another defensive game. Meanwhile, the Browns, what a huge comeback that was to beat the Ravens to keep their win streak going. But they now lost Watson for the rest of the year. So, honestly, although he played better than last year, he really has not been worth the huge amount of money he's paid. So, honestly, it might not really make that much of a difference who's starting right now. As long as that defense keeps doing the job, they could pull like a 2015 Broncos. This will be very interesting to see. But I think I might trust the Browns more in this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers get, because they can do that when they visit the Browns. And then it's the Bears at the Lions. As the Lions won the last 2, the Bears haven't beaten them since 2021. As the Bears beat the Panthers, so they matched their win total from last year, trying to improve from last year. The Lions, meanwhile, came back after they beat the Chargers in a wild game that was. As so far, kind of look like more like the quiet teams in the NFC, at least to me. But I'm still going to pick the Lions for this one. And then an interesting out-of-conference matchup, as it's the Chargers at the Packers for the first time since 2015. As the Chargers won the last one, the Packers haven't beaten them since 2015, and the Chargers haven't won in Lambeau since 1984. So the Chargers once again had a wild, close game, but they couldn't win it in the end. Meanwhile, the Packers, not looking really good, as they lost to the Steelers. Their season's been really disappointing after that 2-1 start. And once again, I still trust Justin Herbert, so I'm going to pick the Chargers for this one. And that's the Cardinals at the Texans for the first time since 2017. As the Cardinals won the last one. The Texans haven't beaten them since 2017. The Cardinals have never won in Houston, as the Cardinals try to avoid their second straight losing season. So, the Cardinals, they beat the Falcons. Thankfully, Kyler Murray was back, and they got a win. So, like I said, you got to wonder if the Cardinals will have a major turnaround with him back, potentially. Have to wait and see, but right now with the win. Meanwhile, the Texans, huge victory over the Bengals, as they're over 500 for the first time since, like week 1 of 2021 or something like that. It's been so long since they've been over 500. And they've looked really good, as Stroud really is an MVP conversation. How about that for a rookie to do that too? Insane. And yep, they are honestly looking like one of the better teams in the AFC just on him alone, even though they are only 5-4. And I'm going to pick the Texans to win. And then it's the Titans at the Jaguars, as the Jaguars won the last two. The Titans haven't beaten them since 2021. So the Titans, of course, lost to the Buccaneers in kind of an ugly game. Meanwhile, the Jaguars got obliterated by the 49ers, ending their 5-game win streak. I'm going to pick the Jaguars for this one. And then still a big AFC matchup as the Raiders are at the Dolphins for the first time since 2018. Raiders won the last one. The Dolphins haven't beaten them since 2020. They haven't beaten them at home since 2018. And the Raiders are trying to get back over 500. First time in a few weeks after they beat the Jets in a defensive struggle. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, of course, were on their bye after they played the Chiefs in Germany, which they couldn't get the win here. But I'm going to pick the Dolphins for this one. And then it's the Giants at the Commanders. As the Giants won the last one, the Commanders haven't beaten them since 2021. As the Giants try to avoid their first losing season since 2021. And so, let's see, they lost it. Yeah, they got obliterated by the Cowboys. This season's worse than last year. The Commanders, meanwhile, starting to get away from them after they lost to the Seahawks in a close game. But I'm going to pick the Commanders for this one. Alright, then we get to the 4 p.m. games. Starting off with still a big one, as it's the Buccaneers at the 49ers for the second year in a row. 49ers won the last two. The Buccaneers haven't beaten them since 2018. And the 49ers haven't won it. Yeah, and the 49ers haven't won in Santa Clara since 2016. There we go. So the Buccaneers got the victory over the Titans. They're trying to get back to 500, but they're going to have a tough test as they got to face the 49ers team that beat them 35-7 last year, I think it was. Or something crazy like that. As the 49ers ended their 3-game losing streak when they obliterated the Jaguars. So, yeah, I'm picking the 49ers for this one. And then a big AFC East and AFC matchup is the Jets at the Bills. As the Jets won the last one, the Bills haven't beaten them since 2022. And the Jets haven't won in Buffalo since 2019. As the Jets under 500 after they lost to the Raiders. Once again, as always, their defense plays good, but their offense is terrible. Meanwhile, the Bills humiliated themselves when they lost to the Broncos. I don't know what's more embarrassing, the fact that Allen had all those turnovers, or the fact that the Broncos missed a field goal to lose the game, only for it to come back due to a too many men on the field penalty to win it. Take your pick. What's more embarrassing? As ugly loss that was. As they're not looking really that good right now. But this time around, I am going to pick them to beat the Jets. And then it's the Seahawks at the Rams. As the Rams won the last one, the Seahawks haven't beaten them since 2022, and the Rams haven't won at home since 2021. As the Seahawks got a pretty solid victory over the Commanders to get the 6-3. Meanwhile, the Rams came off their bye after they lost to the Packers, as they have lost 3 in a row right now and not looking really good. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks for this one. And then we get to a pretty interesting Sunday night game, as it's the Vikings at the Broncos for the first time since 2015, as I fixed the record. The Vikings won the last one. The Broncos haven't beaten them since 2015, and the Vikings have not won in Denver since 1999. So the Vikings have now won 5 in a row, looking really good. Dobbs has looked pretty damn good with the Vikings, showing that maybe the trade was definitely worth it so far. Meanwhile, the Broncos, now they've won 3 in a row, and trying to match their win total from last year to get back to 500 for the first time since week 4 of last year. That's how long it's been since they've been at 500. This is going to be a very interesting game. Both teams have a lot of momentum right now, but I think I still might trust the Vikings, but I won't be surprised if the Broncos get it. And then we get to Monday night. Probably the biggest Monday night game in years, as this is a Super Bowl rematch from last year. The Eagles at the Chiefs for the first time since 2017. The Chiefs won the last 3. The Eagles haven't beaten them since 2009. And they haven't won an Arrowhead since 2005, as the Eagles try to get their third straight win season. As the Eagles, they were on their bye last week. Both teams were on their bye, actually. As the Eagles beat the Cowboys in a competitive game, and the Chiefs came off their bye after they beat the Dolphins in Germany. This is a huge matchup right now. And so far, most of the year, I have not been really impressed with both teams. They've been really struggling. But right now, these last few weeks, The Eagles have been playing a lot better, so I'm going to pick the Eagles to get it in the rematch. Oh, I cannot wait for that Monday night game. That's going to be insane. So those are my picks for Week 11. I cannot wait for Bengals at Ravens tonight. So my picks are the Bengals over the Ravens, Cowboys over the Panthers, the Browns over the Steelers, the Lions over the Bears, the Chargers over the Packers, the Texans over the Cardinals, the Jaguars over the Titans, Dolphins over the Raiders, Commanders over the Giants, the 49ers over Buccaneers, Bills over Jets, Seahawks over Rams, Vikings over Broncos, and Eagles over Chiefs. Alright guys, so of course, next week is Thanksgiving, so my picks are going to be on Wednesday instead. So tune in next Wednesday instead for my picks. See you guys next time for Week 12.